Want to make a turn now into the Full Circle interview. Singer Demi Lovato is awake and with family at a Los Angeles hospital. On Tuesday, a source close to the family told CNN she was hospitalized after an apparent drug overdose. Lovato turns 26 next month. She struggled with mental health issues, drug and alcohol abuse since her teens. In March, she said she was celebrating 6 years of sobriety. But last month, she released a song with lyrics that revealed she had relapsed. The longtime advocate for mental health has inspired a trending hashtag on Twitter, How Demi Helped Me. Fans are offering words of support and stories of survival inspired by Lovato's honesty on her ongoing struggle, same way she has been there for them. Here are some of them. Quote, "I got help for the first time when I was 15 after Demi shared her story. I saw so much of myself in it. She's been next to me when no one else was," another person said. "She's still my longest friend." Joining me now is Dr. Drew Pinsky, an addiction expert and host of Dr. Drew Midday Live on KABC Radio in Los Angeles. First of all, what was your reaction when you heard what had happened to Lovato?
Well, there was a lot of misinformation at the beginning. I first heard everyone heard heroin. I thought, no way. It just didn't fit with her syndrome. We heard that she was administered Narcan, which apparently her friends administered to her. And when the fire department arrived, she still hadn't awakened, which suggests that she didn't respond to the Narcan, which sort of takes opiates off the table here.
Narcan is something that if you give somebody who's overdosed, it can bring them out.
Blocks the opiates and they're out of your system essentially, or their effect is out of your system.
And when you talk about opiates,
painkillers, and heroin, of course, is an opiate too. But heroin, you deteriorate so rapidly, and she just had none of those features. Then I thought, how sad. I mean, this is a lovely woman. She's a wonderful woman, and I thought, boy, she's going to feel a lot of shame and guilt and self-loathing around this relapse. But
which everybody, so many people who do relapse.
Of course, it's part of the right, and it's part of the condition. I always feel when they start feeling guilty and ashamed, what disaster that is, because there's no reason for it. It's just her condition. It's really the way people stigmatize the illness that they feel they should be responsible for it, mental illness particularly. But look, illnesses above the brain are no different than above the neck are no different than illnesses below the neck. They're just it's a brain disorder. It has a treatment. It's a chronic illness. It's marked by relapses. When people relapse, they need to get it back together again, assemble a treatment team, get back into 12-step organizations, and just get going again.
And I mean, she said, had 6 years of sobriety, which is a
wonderful
huge accomplishment.
Wonderful.
And then to relapse. I mean, how common is a relapse? I mean, I have friends who have relapsed multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even look at sometimes as relapse because what people don't understand, it usually takes multiple treatments and multiple years just to attain 1 year of sobriety, like 5 years, 4 treatments on average.
Is that right? Really?
On average. It's not like you go through the treatment and you're magically well. Plus, Demi Lovato.
So you're saying it can take 4 or 5 treatments.
Average, on average, before you get a year of sobriety. And then if you get multiple years of sobriety and you have a relapse, you just reassess, get it back together, reassemble your team. In her case, she of course has bipolar disorder, she has eating disorder, she has some self-harm and cutting, all of which she's been very public about. And that confounds the syndrome a bit. It makes it more difficult, more treacherous. All those things have to be treated as well. This suggests there may be some trauma issues that need management. So again, she's a complicated case, and she's entitled to having a little bit of need for reassessment. Like if she were a diabetic and a brittle diabetic, she needed reassessment. We wouldn't even blink an eye at that. But with mental illness, we do.
I mean, it's interesting to hear from some people online who really feel like she has helped them because she's been so honest.
She has, and I've seen it personally. And that's why it sort of breaks my heart to think of her being ashamed and guilty at this stage. She will be, again, an inspiration for other people. Anybody struggling with mental illness will be inspired by Demi Lovato soon. And this relapse will be part of how she informs and helps other people.
One of the things I love about this Facebook program is we get to have viewers ask questions to our guests, so I don't have to come up with all the questions. Karen asks, are young stars more likely to use drugs than the average teenager, young adult, or do we just hear more about the stars because they're on a public stage, and does an addict truly recover?
So 2 questions. I don't ever look at celebrities as different than anybody else. They just happen to be on a public stage, as this question suggests. So you hear more about it. Now, they have more consequences because they don't have an employer or a family member with leverage over them. They can sometimes progress to the point that things get pretty bad for celebrities. But they don't get it necessarily anymore than everybody else. Though I did do some studies that suggest that people that seek celebrity or that seek performing tend to have more liabilities that set them up for things
There's
like
something
addiction.
about
seeking
the spotlight
Yes.
that represents some sort of
a liability.
Right, a liability.
And do people ever recover? Yes, they recover, but they're never cured, right? It's a chronic illness, but people live with it and be in a fully thriving, flourishing existence. In fact, one of the reasons I got involved in treatment of addiction was I saw people go from young people, healthy people who were dying of addiction, become these amazing human beings, and I just wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to see how that works.
Someone who's listening right now who's struggling with addiction, what's the word of advice for?
Word of advice is you go to your meeting, raise your hand, and say I need help. Just there, go online, have them pick you up, go to 12-step.
There's help out
Mutual
there.
Aid Society has help everywhere around every corner, and it's free. It's free. That's the thing that drives me insane, that we don't get further behind these free services. That a new Cochrane study is about to be released that shows they are as beneficial or better than professionally managed care. So it is evidence-based. So please, it's free. We could save millions of dollars of healthcare expense and help people. So just go to a meeting, raise your hand, ask for help.